Hello again. It is Eric Arnold here in the Sports Barn, and it's Monday, June 14th. And we're here to bring you another week of MLB picks, free MLB picks, I might add. We've got, I believe, 4 for you today on Monday. As this isn't your first visit to the Sports Barn, you know Monday's kind of our recap day where we kind of revisit a little bit what went on the week before, the season to date. Took Sunday off. Just figured, well, I do have other things I want to do than just be chained to the TV and the computer watching baseball. So we took Sunday off. But we did spend a little time. Let's see. All right, there's the Big EO-meter. This is what we've done so far year to date. You know, I haven't really spent the time to seek out other channels that do baseball, that pick baseball games. Do they keep track of their record, or it's just, here's your pick, and I give you like what I've done in my last 10 games, but only if it's good, that sort of thing. I don't give you a year-to-date type record. Did they do that? I don't know. But at any rate, I'm pretty happy with what I've done so far as we were in a pretty big ditch there to start the season, and we pulled out now. And we're pretty solidly here into the black at the moment. A 2.7% rate of return on your investments. What does that mean? That means the way I calculate it is we flat bet all our picks at $100 and then add them all up, and that is the amount that has been invested. And then we take how much money we made, which in this case is $937. You divide that by how much you bet or invested, and that gives you your rate of return. So if you take 2.7, was that good? What does that mean? I mean, most people are used to 11 to 10 sports, such as football, basketball. Those are the ones with the point spread. That's what everybody's most commonly used to. That there you could pretty well, your break-even point in those sports is 52.38%. That's your break-even point with the 11 to 10 VIG. Your traditional 11 to 10 VIG. Now with the advent of so many different outlets and sport books, sometimes you can come up with a VIG that's a little more favorable than 11 to 10. Some sports books, in order to get your action, they'll cut you a little bit of a break where you don't have to quite pay the 11 to 10. Maybe it's a little less than that. So that would then make your break-even point a little lower, maybe into the 51.7, 51.8%. At any rate, so if you take 2.7 and try to make it apples to apples and compare it to an 11 to 10 type sport like football, that equates to, 53.5 roughly. So that's not terrible. It's not terrible considering the volume of games we've put on the board here in the first 40% of the baseball season. Hitting 53.5%. I think that's pretty good. I'm not embarrassed about that at all. Now, I should say I'm not embarrassed by that at all. Here is our guest, our number one fan, in the comments section. Again, if this isn't your first visit, you know that Pittsburgh Louie posts his picks in the comment section pretty much every day. And this is his record. Now, I went through this last night I thought it'd take an hour. It took longer. But once I get into it, it's kind of like, shit, this is taking a long time. But we started it. Let's finish it. So I ground through it. Now, Pittsburgh Louie, this is what I came up with. If your numbers are different, well, then they are. But this is the numbers we're using. I just basically, he just counts wins and losses, which I think, I'm going to put it on my terms just to make it apples to apples. Wins and losses is fast and dirty way to do it, but it doesn't give you an exact. In other words, if I just play the minus 200 favorites every game, yeah, I should be hitting 55, 60% of the games. I could be hitting, if I play a minus 200 team every day, and I'm hitting 60% of them as winners, I'm losing money. You do the math, but you're losing money because you're laying such a heavy price to pay. In other words, every time you lose 2 bets. Basically, that's a 2-bet loss every time you lose one. So I crunched Louie's numbers. His one loss record, I think, is up around 57%. Well, anyway, I crunched that, tried to get, his numbers on the same terms as mine. And, look at this guy go. He's bet upwards of, 24,000, and he's made 2,300. Winning return on investment of 9.7. Flip it back there. There's mine, 2.7. His is 9.7. That's, that is upwards of 57%, even in an 11 to 10 type sport like football. So, he's been going super great guns in the comment section. So I thought to myself, what other channel is out there that gives you free baseball picks and has performed at this rate, this level, 2 different handicappers, and our picks often don't agree. They're often totally different. In fact, sometimes we have the opposite of the same game. What channel is giving you 2 different successful handicappers that have a season-to-date record one way above 500, Louie, and then me, I'm that much above 500. I don't know, man. I would think that, like a rip off the old Bob Uecker line from Major Leagues. Well, in case you haven't noticed, and judging by the viewership, you haven't, we've been winning some games here in the Sports Barn. So, just saying. All right, here is what we did. Oh, where the hell is it? There we are. Boom. Nothing happened. Oh, there we go. Well, this is what I did Saturday. Well, again, swept the board except for our top play. What can you do? And even that was close. We lost by a run. But the A's winner. White Sox, easy winner. Angels come from behind late to get the W. Winner. The Reds, easy winner. The Orioles lost by a run. Can't win them all. And then Blue Jays, easy winner. So 5-1 on Saturday. Very, very nice day. All right, what else we got here? Well, I just kind of, on the Mondays, I like to look at the standings and just try to figure out, who looks like somebody that might be ready to make a move, who's teams that are, we think might start to come back to the pack. I mean, it kind of seems like we're separating now a little bit, that the good teams are starting to pull away. Some of the bad teams are fallen off the wayside. I kind of think that may continue in that I think it's probably too soon to be looking at teams like the Tigers and the Orioles and the Pirates. Uh, those teams, we're not even at today's Flag Day. We're not even at Independence Day. We're not even at the All-Star break yet. We've got 60% of the season yet to go. And I think it's too soon to be jumping on these, really crummy teams. The numbers got to change. I mean, we've got to get really paid to get on these bad teams, and I don't think the number's there yet. So I'm not ready to play really shitty teams. It's about this point in the season. You're looking for some of those teams in the middle of the pack to start moving, to start making a charge. We've done some business here lately on the Angels, if you can believe that. On the Reds, if you can believe that. The Phillies, they've won 4 in a row. They're starting to make a move. I don't know. Think about this. I looked this up. As Casey Stengel used to say, you can look it up. The Nationals, last true champion, 2019. About this point in the season, they were 6 games under 500. Right now, they're 7 games under 500 if you want to match that up. But they were 6 games under 500 in 2019. And then they just played 650 baseball the rest of the way, won 65% of the rest of their games, won the division, and then ultimately won it all. Did they win the division? They did not win the division. They made the playoffs and then won it all. So other teams, the Braves won the division. That's right. The Braves won the division. They were barely above 500 in 2019 at this point in the season. They played 640 baseball the rest of the way. They won the division. The A's, they were at 500 at this point in the season 2 years ago. They won 65% of their games the rest of the way and one going away. So it's definitely, it happens. It happens year after year after year that just because you got off to a little bit of a stumbling start doesn't mean that you can't go on a run now and make some money. And vice versa, that teams get out to fast starts and fade. Certainly the fan graphs, I looked this up, it's like, well, do we expect teams like the Giants to stick it out? Because they've way overachieved what anybody thought they could do. FanGraph says they have a 4.6 chance of winning the division. The division. They're winning the division right now by a game. They're ahead by 1 game. And I guess FanGraphs thinks there's about 0 chance they're going to hold that lead. So I don't know. I think that's a little understated. I guess the 2 most interesting teams to me at the moment are the Braves and the Yankees, because these were 2 locks, if you will, to make the playoffs, to possibly win it all. Both teams to start the season. How could you, with all the young talent that the Braves had, how could you possibly? They were 1 game last year from, I guess, making the World Series. Do I have that right? I don't know. Last year was such an abortion. I don't have a strong memory of it. But they just haven't played well. They haven't gotten good pitching. Their bullpen's not very good. I think they missed d'Arnaud more than the people let on, the catcher. And then they lost Ozuna and won't see him again with the domestic violence deal. Of course, he wasn't playing well anyway. So I don't know. It's like I keep thinking the Braves are just going to, at some point, they're going to overwhelm this pretty weak NL East division. I still, I kind of, I'm not ready to throw the Braves away yet. Now the Yankees, oh wow, man. The Yankees were here in Philadelphia this weekend, and I don't know who those dudes were. You know, the jersey said Yankees, but they, that wasn't like the Yankees I was used to, where we could just shut these guys out. Aaron Nola shuts out the Yankees. That shouldn't happen, but it did. So I don't know there. I think the Yankees may have real trouble. Uh, I, I, I I don't know. That team may just be constructed poorly. I don't think it helps that Stanton's their highest paid player, and he has trouble getting on the field. He couldn't even play in Philadelphia because he can't play the field. He has to be a DH. I think that causes trouble in the locker room. Here you are, you're making all that money, and well, why aren't you playing today? Oh, because if you try to field the ball, you're going to pull a muscle? Seriously? Oh, man. All right, well, one other thought. While I was crunching Pittsburgh Louie's excellent record to come up with that, I had the Sunday night game, the Cubs game on, and usually I just, have the sound off just so I can concentrate on whatever else I'm doing. But for whatever reason, I had the sound on, and here they come around to talking about the Tiger grip or the Pelican grip. I never gave that any thought. I mean, have there actually been studies who can grip something in their mouth tighter, a tiger or a pelican? I'd like to know the answer to that now that I think about it. Well, at any rate, they're talking about the cheating, the pitching, the cheating, the spinning. Foreign substances allow me to spin the ball, make it dance, make it zip, make you miss it as a batter. And Buster Olney was saying that they expect a strongly worded memo will go out from the league office this week, which will then advise the clubs how these rules will be enforced. And, all that screams, we're not doing anything. If I was going to do it, I wouldn't put it to the umpires. I would put it to Major League Security and just I'd catch these guys in the locker room doing it. I'd put my cameras, I'd put my spies in the clubhouses. I wouldn't lay it off sure, I'd have the umpires do it a little bit. But what would not be in the memo is we're going to take all this action behind the scenes, and if we catch you, too bad for you, because you knew what the rule was, and the memo is going to spell out specifically what's prohibited. We're not going to tell you every last thing we're doing to catch people doing this. Maybe that's how they're going to do it. I highly doubt it, but that's how I would do it. I would make sure that we've got security looking for this stuff in the clubhouses. And that's how a lot of this stuff comes out anyway. How did Roger Clemens get nailed doing steroids? Well, his little minion that was injecting him got tied up or wrapped up in some other investigation and ratted him out. That's how it always happens. Anyway, the point I thought was also interesting then is who then do they ask, who else is doing the broadcast there on the ESPN on Sunday night? Alex Rodriguez. So then they ask Alex to opine about what he thinks about the spinning the ball scandal and how they should enforce it. And I thought to myself, oh my God, I'm sitting here being lectured on cheating by Alex fucking Rodriguez? Really? Jesus Christ, ESPN. You guys are an embarrassment. You're an embarrassment to ethics, to broadcasting. Holy Christ. So Alex Rodriguez tells me what he thinks about it. Oh, wow. And no one in the whole broadcast team or whatever has the guts to say to him, well, Alex, I mean, with your vast experience with breaking the rules, what do you think? Then I would have had some respect for him if they had at least advised the viewing public, hey, this is this guy's background. Let's not forget who this guy is. perhaps one of the biggest cheaters in baseball history, but that would defeat the entire ESPN Alex Rodriguez rehabilitation tour. Jeez. Oh, anyway, it is what it is. It won't change. I just don't get. It's like ESPN. You couldn't find anybody in the baseball industry to put on your broadcast other than Alex Rodriguez. That was what you came up with. You guys really suck. All right, here's today. Well, like I said, the Nationals 2 years ago were about at this point, and then they just went on a run. So I ask you, what team is more likely to go on a run this year, the Pirates or the Nationals? I put to you, I say the Nationals. I know they're old and whatever, but the Pirates that's just a bad team. I don't think this is a team that's like suddenly, I'm trying to think of some Cinderella team that blazed out of nowhere. I can't think of one. It just doesn't happen. It's a bad team. The Nationals have talent on their team. It's elderly, but, Trey Turner and Juan Soto are not elderly. So, anyway, I think, and I don't think we're paying a hateful price here. Minus 114 at home. Maybe the Nationals go up the track here and just take all sort of injuries, and their elderly players can't hit the ball, and it turns into a 90-loss season for them. And they're still probably going to beat the Pirates, even if they lose 90 games. So, I don't know. This one just seems too obvious to me. We'll take it for a 1 star, the Nationals. Then we got some top plays here. Model likes these games. I like these games, some better than others. Glass now, think he's a good pitcher. And I think the Rays seem to make him better in what his statistics make him appear to be. In other words, I'm sure you put Lance Lynn's ERA up against Glasnow's ERA. Lynn looks much the superior pitcher. But I think the Rays play harder for Glasnow. One thing I think the Rays do, as far as their model goes, Glasnow's one of their starters, if you will. The Rays have, 2 starters, maybe 2.5 with Rich Hill. So Glasnow, he's the guy. They need innings out of him because they'll throw in the other half of their games. Those are all just bullpen games where, you got the opener, he goes 2 innings, and then the bullpen takes over. So they can't burn the pen in a Glasnow game. They've already burned the pen in the previous game or 2. So they need innings out of Glasnow. I think that's advantage the guy who bet on the Rays. Maybe now when Glasnow gets into that marginal inning there, the 6th or the 7th inning, where a normal team would be like, whoop, take him out because we don't want him to get hurt. They need an inning out of that guy. So he goes out there for that extra inning, and I think that's an advantage because, who'd you rather have? A tiring Glasnow or a guy that's just on the cusp of being in the major leagues at all, middle reliever? I'd rather have Glasnow. So I think that's an advantage for the Rays. The White Sox are definitely good, but I think that the Rays need this game more than the White Sox. I think the White Sox, I think they know, I think everybody knows, the White Sox are very likely going to win their division going away. They're up, 5 games now and pulling away from the Indians. When the White Sox get some of their injured players back, then they're just really going to pull away. The Rays are going to be in a fist fight all year long with the Blue Jays and the Red Sox, I think. So The Rays can't take their foot off the gas. I think they know that. I think they're going to play extra hard tonight to try to get this game. We're going to go ahead and say, take the 105, take Glasnow and the Rays. Angels Athletics. Like I said, the Angels are making a move here. You know, they're no Trout, but season's a long season, and the Angels have not mailed it in. Joe Maddon's a good manager, and he's got these guys playing good baseball. The A's, that's a tough team, particularly at home, but this is the perfect team to play against the A's. They play there. They play in that weirdo stadium. They play there 9 times a year. It's not unusual to the Angels. They're used to it. So that rubs out that advantage for the A's. They've played pretty well against Manaea. The Angels have. Manaea hasn't pitched great against the Angels. So all this adds up to a great spot for the Angels to possibly go in there and steal one at a good price. Both teams are playing pretty well. We'll go ahead and see if the Angels can keep it rolling here. We'll take that. That's a nice price for a team that's on, what, a 4 or 5 game winning streak. Take the Angels. And then lastly, oh, sure, why not? Model loves this game too. The Phillies, they've got a 4-game winning streak going. They're feeling good about themselves. The Dodgers, I think they're in coast mode. Oh, they're not even in first place. How can a team coast and it's not first place? Well, because Fangraphs thinks that the team ahead of them has a 4.6 chance to win the division. The Dodgers know that. They know that. No one expects the Giants to be there in 2 months. Everyone thinks the Giants are going away. The Dodgers think they're going away. I don't think the Dodgers are worried about where they're at in the standings 1 second. I don't think they're worried one tiny little bit. So the Phillies, they know they need to put some W's on the board to get back in this race. The Mets are ahead of them. The Braves are ahead of them. The Braves are not ahead of them. Only it seems the Braves are ahead of them because the Braves have so much talent, and we're just waiting for them to go on their big run. But the Phillies need to put some W's on the board. They're playing well. This is probably the best that you're going to get out of the Phillies all year long. Another nice price here. Howard for the Phillies, he's a #1 pick. So there is some talent there. We're not facing one of the Dodger killers like Kershaw or Arias or Buehler. Notice I didn't put Bauer in there because I do not think Bauer. Too bad he is not pitching, because then this game would really be tasty, because Bauer is one of those guys I think we like to play against. But Gonsolin, he's just off the injured list. So I don't know he's anything special. This is if Howard goes out there and pitches well and surprises people and just throws and think about this, if I'm Howard, this is my golden opportunity to claim a spot in the Phillies rotation, to become that guy. Because the Phillies basically have 3 starters, and then that's about it. Then it's fill in the blank kind of guys. Well, this is your big chance, Spencer Howard. Go out there, shut down the world champion Dodgers, and claim your spot in the rotation. Do it, man. This is your chance. So why not? We're going to say he does it. We're going to say he does it. And if he doesn't do it, we're still going to say the Phillies are going to win. So that is how we're doing this. The Rays, the Angels, the Phillies, fill in with the Nationals. Very good. Very good. That's all we got for you here on this Monday. So we're going to have another good week of baseball, right? We've been on a roll. Pittsburgh Louie has been, well, he was on such a roll that he's cooled off a little bit. And I still can't even see him. He's around the bend somewhere. I can't even see him in our little head-to-head race. But both of us winning records year to date. Where else are you going to find that? So good deal. Well, we'll look to see more of you later in the week. We'll be back tomorrow. Eric Arnold signing off.